right here on MZ Radio London. It's a show where we talk about mental health and suicide prevention. Set a reminder for that. And just before I go, I want to let you know I care about your mental health. And you know what? Stick around right here on this station. Don't go nowhere. It's Friday again, and you know what time it is. You know what show you're listening to right now. It's the MHAASP Show with KP on MZ Radio London and AP Radio UK. This is a show where we talk about mental health and suicide prevention. It's so good to have you join us today on another bumper package that the show promises to give out to you today. And I cannot but say thank you once again. And you know what? You know, somebody who is not listening yet, just go prod that person, go tell that person that we're reading the airwaves already. And for this is the third week now, we've been talking about a series called Addiction and Recovery. And it's been a wonderful time with our guest on the show. And to tell you, our guest is in the building again to do what he knows how to do best. And that's talking about addiction and recovery, and as well as motivation. Ladies and gentlemen, we still got in the building, Deryl Glaze. Deryl, how are you today?
KP, I am blessed and highly favored, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing great as well. How is Minnesota?
Minnesota is cold. We're getting into our winter season, man. So we're starting to get to a place where we're starting to see a lot of snow coming around.
Wow, that shows how great and mighty our God is. It's directly opposite where I am right here in Nigeria. Is actually hot. The temperature is high, but we can't complain. That's the beauty of nature, and that's how right. God has made it. Yeah. So blessed to have you. On the show today, we'll be discussing family, the other victim in addiction. Family, the other victim in addiction. I'm sure you cannot wait for these moments that we're about to get into. MZ Radio London, AP Radio UK, go tell someone to listen right now, because Deryl is about to handle the mic. Deryl, over to you.
Thank you, KP, and thank you once again, folks, for tuning in. I tell you, we've had a great my hope and prayer is that everybody has heard something that would add value to your life and add some skills to your life that will help you out in the process of recovery and overcoming addiction. So I want to talk to you today about the other victim in recovery addiction process, and that's the family. And I want to share with you a story about a 37-year-old man who had been to 17 different treatments in the last 16 years. He never completed one inpatient treatment at all. Never completed one. So at his normal pattern, he'd be there for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and all of a sudden he would come to staff, just like he did this last one, and said, you know what, I'm done. I'm sick of this place. This place is terrible. My staff is terrible. The food is terrible. My roommate's terrible. He would always be pointing to other people who he felt was interfering with his recovery. So he would do this time and time again. In this process, staff would try to talk him out of it, trying to get him to see the reason why he came here, get him to understand that he's here to get the help, and we're here to provide the help that he needed. However, he dug his heels in, and he was dead set on giving up and going back out to what was familiar. So after he packed up his belongings, he asked to use a phone. When he used that phone, he was calling everybody he knew that would come and get him a ride. And in that process, nobody agreed to come and pick him up. They said, no, I don't have time, or no, you need to stay, you need to finish what started. Well, he got to a point that he knew that no matter how many no's he got, he knew one person who would always say yes. And that was dear old mom. So he called dear old mom up. She answered the phone. He began to tell her about how bad this place was, how he was mistreated, and all these other different things that he said before in every treatment center he's ever been in. She tried to convince him to stay, but he just kept digging his heels in. He finally told her, listen, if you don't come and pick me up right now, I'm going to go and kill myself. And he hung up the phone. And when he hung up the phone, he looked at staff with a grin on his face and said, she'll be here in 20 minutes. My friend, she was actually there in 15 minutes. And as he began to take his stuff and load up her car, she was looking with tears in her eyes, seeing that once again he decided not to participate in his own success. After the car was loaded, they got in the car, and as she took off, you begin to see the two of them, and he just began to argue at her, yell at her, scream at her, and make her feel bad like it was her fault that he was trapped in this situation. And tears in her eyes, she just went on down the highway. When it comes to people who are in addiction, the family becomes the number one victim of the addiction. They're usually the folks who don't know what to do, who don't know what to say, who don't know how to attack this problem with this loved one. So they do either nothing, or they enable the problem by giving them the drugs and giving them the alcohol to keep them quiet or keep them at peace. Or they just throw up their hands and just give up. Well, I want to share with you today that you no longer have to be a victim anymore. I want to share with you some things that's going to help you put yourself in a position where you can help hold that loved one accountable if you choose to go on this journey with them. So today we're going to talk about how to move you from enabler to coach as you help your loved one in the journey of recovery. From enabler to coach, helping your loved one in the journey of recovery. The first thing you want to do in this process is you want to make sure that you communicate and establish good boundaries. I can't stress that enough. One of the things that people have a tendency to do because they don't know what to say or how to say it, they just let the person who is in the addiction run all over them. Even the person that's in recovery will try to manipulate them every now and then. So they'll let somebody run all over. So you got to have some boundaries set. So you need to communicate those boundaries to the person that you're helping. You need to let them know things like, I'm willing to have coffee with you and talk once a week and connect with you. I'm willing to help you find meetings in your area that will help you to continue in your recovery journey. But be honest with them. I'm not willing to give you any money, ride to the places, or buy you things that are going to cause you to stumble in your recovery. If you relapse, say things like, I will drive you to treatment, but I won't take you everywhere to go try to pick up property and things like that. We're going straight to treatment, no questions asked. And if you decide to leave treatment, I'm not coming to pick you up, and I'm not letting you stay with me. That's a very important part. I've seen too many people when they get to a place where they forget that part. So you got to establish those good boundaries up front. The next thing you want to make sure you do is you want to ask questions that lead to tracking their success. Okay, ask questions, things like this. So today, well, let me ask you this. Did you have any thoughts you're using today? If so, what did you do to change those thoughts? What avenues, what things did you do to change those thoughts? And let them tell you what they did. Okay? Ask them questions like, give me something that you learned today, recently, that will put you in, that you're going to put into practice to use in your everyday journey. Ask them questions like that because you're holding them accountable. Ask them about their goals over the next 30 days because those are things that are important to help them move forward. And then it also lets you know whether they're serious about their recovery or not. It'll let you know if they are going forward or backwards. So you have to ask those kind of questions if you choose to walk out this journey with them. The third thing you want to make sure you do is you want to give yourself a break. Now, what do I mean by that? Listen, we're all human. We all have days when we're not at our best, especially when you're dealing with somebody who's in recovery. Maybe they've hurt you at a point. Maybe they've stolen from you. Maybe they've done something that has made you absolutely mad throughout this recovery process. So you have to be able to understand yourself and give yourself a break. If it's a bad day where you maybe that you're feeling a certain way about them, maybe call them up and say, hey, you know what, I can't get together with you today because I'm not really feeling the best. Let's reschedule for such and such a date. Or maybe you worked a long day on your job and you just are tired. And you know that when you're tired, you're snappy, you're crabby. Look, do yourself a favor and do them a favor. Give yourself a break. Take that step away. take that walk away, to take time off to replenish yourself, put yourself in a position where you're going to be in a better state of mind to be helpful for them in their recovery process.
Wow, wow, wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. I mean, we cannot undermine the power of what you just said last. Giving oneself a break, it's even good for your own personal mental health as well. When you are
Exactly.
when you overload yourself for a long period of time, it leads to just you get stressed up, you get burnt out, or somewhat, and it's totally bad for your mental health. I think I was just scripting a whole lot down. Establish good boundaries, ask questions that lead to their success. I love that so well. When you ask empowering questions that will empower them. I think that is powerful. That is powerful. Let's take a breather now, Daryl. When we come
Okay.
back, we will continue. This is still the MHAASP Show with KP on MZ Radio London and AP Radio UK. The song of Joy Saliu is titled Everything. We'll be back shortly.
I've searched all over, but I know fit find one person when fit love me like you do, when fit do the things you do, in all day, in all day. Oh, oh. Now you be my everything, oh God. Now you've been my everything, oh God. Now you've been my everything, oh God. Oh, now you've been my everything, oh God. My joy, my peace, my life. Yes, you are, Lord. Yeah. My joy, my peace, you're my life. Now you be my everything. Now I've come to know that's no me without you. Even in the storm, you are there with me. Now I've come to know there's no me without you. Even in the now you be my everything, oh God. Everything that's you, Lord. Now you.
Tweet us on MZ Radio London.
Welcome back to MZ Radio London, AP Radio UK. This is the MHAASP Show with KP, and I still got Deryl in the building on our series titled Addiction and Recovery. And today we've been talking about family, the other victim in addiction. Deryl, welcome back.
Thank you, KP. You said something right at the very end there when you talked about asking empowering questions, which kind of goes with our next point here. Encourage responsibilities. Get to the point where you're helping them with their plan of attack. And the way you help them with their plan of attack is by keeping them accountable to the things they said they were going to say. One of the questions you can ask them about it, do they have a sober plan? What does a sober plan look like for them? Okay. Or do you have a mentor or a sponsor? Is it written down? Okay. The person that you meet with, how often are you meeting with this person? You meet with them once a week, twice a week, okay? And then is it written down? And then if they say yes, it's written down, you ask the magical question, which is, can I see it? Understand something. When you are walking with somebody in their recovery process, don't look at it as a person that is badgering. Don't look at it as you're a person that is like getting on their nerves. You're a partner. And in partnership, there is both give and take. People have to do their parts in partnership. So if you're doing your partner by showing up, meeting with them, doing the things you need to do with them, and they're not doing their part, that lets you know right away it's not a good partnership. So you need to ask questions like that. And when they say they have this stuff written down, you need to ask to see it. Okay? Maybe even critique it. Maybe even give some ideas in the process. The next thing is that you also want to have what I like to call educate yourself on substance abuse out there. I can't stress this part enough because so many people don't even know what their loved ones use. And if they do know what their loved ones use, they don't know the effects that drug or alcohol has on that person. Get to know what it does to the brain. Get to know if they're doing meth, that meth can keep a person up for days on end, 7 to 14 days. Let us find out what it's all about and why a person, after they're done taking meth, they crash and they can sleep for days on end. Find out why that happens. Get to know what meth does, alcohol does to the brain. So if something is going on that's unusual, you will be able to know the telltale signs that are taking place in the process. So get to know and educate yourselves on substance abuse. Also, educate yourself on on something I think is very important, on treatment options. Let's say the person falls off. Let's say that they go off the deep end and they go back out there and use again. It would be great if you had your own list of places that they can go, that you can help them call and get back in somewhere where they can get the help they need. So find out what the treatment options are. Find out if they take any kind of state or county funding. Find out if there's any kind of grants or anything out there that can help the process and paying for it, or if that person has to pay out of pocket. These are things that are very important to know, and it'll help you in their journey in the recovery process. The next thing is that you need to do, and I can't stress this enough, KP, you just got to make sure that no matter what, you pray, pray, pray.
Wow.
Now, what do I mean by that? Now, hear me closely, because you got to understand this. Pray for God to show them peace that lies ahead in their recovery journeys. That God actually provides peace for them that lies ahead in their recovery journey. Pray for the right people to come into their lives, to come across their path, to help them in the process of walking this thing out, okay? Because they need to build a network, so it's important to have that. So the other part is that pray for God's will to be done in their lives and not yours. Listen, I'm human. I get it. I understand it. You've been struggling and watching your loved one out there. I had kids that struggled in their addiction. And we used to pray for them to go to this particular treatment center and what have you. But you know what? It didn't happen that way. God wound up getting a hold of them a whole nother kind of way. And that's the only reason why they were able to walk free. Totally different than what I thought. So pray for God's will to be done in their life. And then remember this. God has a plan, has a path in their journey to recovery. So trust him in the process. You got to trust God in the actual process. And then the last thing I want to share with you in this, always remember that you are a piece to the puzzle, but you are not the puzzle. You are not responsible for their recovery.
Okay.
If they fall off and go back to their old ways, that's not your fault.
Okay.
If they go to a place where they decide not to keep in contact with you and they decide to go back to their old lifestyle, that's not your fault. If they overdose, even unto death, understand that is not your fault. Here's why.
Okay.
The final outcome, the final decision, all relies on them. As a person is walking out that journey with them, you are a piece to the puzzle. You are there for support, encouragement, and all the support things that you can do to add value to their life. But they have to be the ones that want it. You are the piece to the puzzle, but you are not the puzzle. So let's understand this in review. Number one, establish good communication boundaries. Okay. Say the things that you're willing to do and not willing to do. Yeah. Ask tracking questions. Ask questions like, what are you doing? What did you do today to add value to your recovery? Yeah. Ask those questions that are going to be important to you. KP said it best when we talked about give yourself a break. You got to give yourself a break for your own mental illness, your own mental recovery. You got to watch yourself, man. So you got to know when to step back, because let me tell you something. Dealing with recovering addicts can be really up and down, ebbs and flows. So you have to be careful when you take it. Make sure you protect yourself in the process. Okay. Encourage responsibilities. Their plan of attack. What do they plan on doing to be successful in their recovery? Educate yourself on substance abuse and treatment options in the area. Yeah. Pray, but don't pray the prayers where you think you want to do, how you want to turn out. Pray for God's journey and peace for their life. Pray for God's will for their life. And then remember, you are the piece to the puzzle, not the puzzle. You are the one that adds that support, that encouragement, that those words that's going to put them in a place to think differently, but you are not the answer. You are not the answer. You are a piece to the puzzle. There are a lot of pieces to the puzzle out there for them on their journey of recovery to get them into a place where they never have to be a victim of substance abuse again. But you have to understand that you have a part to play. That's why you're a piece to the puzzle and not the puzzle.
Wow. My note is full, Deryl. I've been writing, and I'm so sure right over there our listeners are doing the same thing. It's been explosive, it's been insightful, inspiring. The prayer aspect got me because many people think maybe they could do it on their own. There is the power that prayer brings to the table, which because the Bible says that our weapon of warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God in pulling down stronghold. Addiction could be someone's stronghold, and then the power of prayer can pull it down little by little, and that person will be on the road to recovery and will fully recover from that. Deryl, I can't thank you enough. It's been a wonderful, another wonderful time on the show today. Our time flies. I'm looking at the time now. It's like it's 5 minutes, and we have almost spent 30 minutes. It's good to have you. When we appreciate you for your time for these 3 weeks that you've been on the show. The feedback we got and we keep getting, shows how insightful those moments have been. Thank you, Deryl. And I'm sure if we call again, you're coming back. Is that it?
I would love to, KP. Thank you so much for having me.
It's such a wonderful thing. Thanks to everybody who is listening out there. We appreciate you. Without you, there's no us. We thank you for making it possible for us to come over and over again. And like I always say, you can extend the love to somebody else, to tell them to keep listening to MZ Radio London and AP Radio UK. To my producer on MZ Radio London, Mr. Soji Amuni, we call him SOJ. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. And to all fields on AP Radio UK, thank you so much. I appreciate you as well. Next week is around the corner. We'll be talking about stress management in the workplace. And I have my guest ready, and she's coming to also do something spectacular on the show. So you see why you need to stick around on this station and don't go nowhere. Take care till I see you next week. Stay mentally healthy. This is the song of Wale Awolola, and this is titled What?
Lord, you're worthy to be praised. Lord, you're worthy to be praised. Are worthy, you're so worthy, Lord, you're worthy to be praised. Lord, you're worthy to be praised. Oh Lord, you're worthy to be praised. You're worthy to be praised. Everybody sing now. You're worthy to be praised. Come on, say, Lord, you're worthy. You're worthy to be praised. You are worthy. You're so worthy. Lord, you're worthy to be praised. Come on, everybody, say it with me now. How many people know our God is worthy? Yeah.